Okay, what he's done is taken about 3 pounds of plum tomatoes and put it through a sieve. So we took out the excess seeds and the skins. And he's about to make just a basic tomato sauce, which really doesn't have to cook very long at all, does it? No. You can make a basic tomato sauce in about 10 minutes. All you really need is some extra virgin olive oil, some fresh garlic, tomatoes. You can use canned tomatoes or fresh tomatoes, some basilico, fresh basil, and red wine, and you're all set. A little bit of salt and pepper. Some people like to put a little bit of sugar in. Do you like to put sugar in your sauce?
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of people like to put and it brings out a little bit of the sweetness of the tomato, so it's not a sin to put sugar in your tomato sauce. If you put your spoon in the pot before you pour the tomatoes in, it'll prevent the splatter. Do you see how nice and clean he is? It'll prevent the splatter from going all over yourself. So there's our tomatoes. That's good. Now, you know, you don't have to roll it any further. You can just go right to the machine now. That's good. I'll roll out the next piece for you. It doesn't stick. When you do this at home, put in about 6 or 8 at a time. We have a large pot, so we're going to put in a whole sheet full, maybe 12 or 14. And you let these cook maybe for 1 or 2 minutes, not more. So there is our first layer. We've made the bechamel, or I should say Kay made it, which is nothing more than a cream sauce made with butter, flour, you make a white roux, and then you add milk, and then nutmeg. And you cook this until it's thickened. Now we don't want a real thick sauce, we want something that's rather fluid, but will sit nicely in the pan. Now we're making more than I would usually make because there are going to be 16 of us for lunch. So we're using a larger size pan than a regular size lasagna pan. All right, Kay, why don't you put down a thin layer of the sauce? So you just want a thin layer, because we're only going to use the bechamel twice, once on the bottom and once on the top. So a nice thin layer goes down, and one way to do this after you get it on there is to just pick the pan up and move it around, because that helps you to distribute the sauce. So here, a nice layer of the bechamel. Did you have fun making that?
Oh, indeed.
Yeah,
yes.
we had her make it 3 times because we needed so much. Okay, so that looks like it's going to be plenty. So a nice thin layer on the bottom. All right, now Nancy puts on the noodles. So you want to make a layer of noodles. Good. Look at how beautiful the color of these noodles are. We never get it like this at home, do we?
Not that color.
Not that color, because the eggs were just so orange. And you see, each piece doesn't have to be exactly the same size, because you can do, as Nancy is doing here, overlap the slices. Overlap them to fit the pan. Okay, we're probably going to need about 4 more, I think. So that's 1 layer. Look at how pretty that looks against the lasagna. Now you're not limited to using spinach for this. You could use Swiss chard if you wanted to. You could use beet greens. But this is a vegetarian lasagna, except for the eggs that we used in the dough, of course. Okay, I think that's plenty. Let's spread that out. Now we want to give that some tomato sauce. So now we spread on some tomato sauce, and you want to tell them how you made it?
With olive oil, onion, garlic, salt and pepper.
Don't forget the wine.
No, don't forget the wine. No.
Some red wine, which you don't have to put in the sauce, but I think it gives it a really nice flavor. And salt and pepper. And a little sugar. Okay, not too much salt. No, don't make it too wet.
Okay.
Thin, thin, thin. Get a little bit over here. And a little bit in that corner. All right. That's great. Okay, now too much sauce here to get it on. know about you, but I can't wait to eat this. This is great. Yes, and we have exactly enough noodles. Okay, now Kay, it's your turn. Now the bechamel goes on, and you're going to cover it now with the sauce. Cover it with the sauce. Yes. Scrape it all out of there. When I told Kay she had to make 3 batches, she didn't believe me, but you see, we need it for the top. All right, and now we need more Parmigiano. All right, now we're going to cover it with foil. And this goes into the oven about 35 minutes. You really want to bake it just until it's heated through. 35 minutes.